Hello,
Awesome.
hello.
All right. Yes. Welcome back to a slightly delayed, but not hopefully not too much, but yet very special episode today.
Yes, very
But
special. With
which is why so many of you are lined up and waiting, which
I
is
know
exciting.
people chomping at the bit, people clicking
That's good.
pens. Uh,
Apparently,
one person kicking their feet, running around and screaming, which is awesome. I
yeah, just
yeah,
just the kind of very reasonable and rational activity that we expect in our demographic here.
yes,
So
of course. Oh, as always, are we? Do we sound all right? Everyone can hear us. 'Cause we don't want
yeah,
to
a
be
little
like
mic check,
completely.
mic check.
Yeah, we don't want to be completely muted and go. Here's all the stuff, and no one can hear
Here's all
us.
this critical information, and everybody's going, "It's got to start soon. It's got to start soon, right?"
The theme this
Which
year's mimes. You gotta be able to read our lips. We're just waiting for this little stream delay. Yep, sounds good. We got 100. We got 100 from one person. That's all I need.
Yay. That's the best grade I've gotten in a long time.
My hand's freaking out as I take a sip.
Good, good.
Hmm. Well, yeah.
Well,
I,
do we want to idly banter for a minute, or do we want to just jump right into it?
I mean, maybe like a minute, right? You don't want to.
Well, one
You don't
minute,
want to
we
rip
got,
the band-aid off too fast. I mean, it's not
uh,
like people are really wanting to know what the theme is or anything. You know?
sounds great. Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
promising.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Well,
another year of Merge Masters. That 2025.
it's going to be an interesting one. I'm really excited to see how, or for one thing, how people react
Mm.
to the theme and the rules, but also how they uh, handle that as far as
I
how they
think
go
they'll I
about.
think they'll measure up to the challenge. And
Oh yeah,
that.
no, I've got no doubts. It'll just be interesting to see what methods are used, since we I don't think we'll be seeing some conventional builds this year.
No, that there'll definitely be some odd ones. I mean, personally, anything like certain cube shapes would be quite uh,
It,
uh
that
amusing to look
that
at.
that third dimension that will
Yeah.
be very interesting to see how that is handled. These
Yeah.
are hints, everybody.
These are.
Um, but, but no, I mean, as discussed, when we were developing the rules, we intentionally designed this year to use some kind of unconventional, out of the box thinking. Would you say
Yeah.
that? Is that what you would
Yeah.
say?
Definitely boxes. Yeah. There's thinking, there's boxes happening. They're there, but you're
Oh.
more, you know, not out of the box. It's another word for it. But yeah.
Do you want to just rip off the
Yeah. Yeah,
proverbial band-aid?
you rip off the proverbial band-aid. I have a little drum roll for the thing, which Nathan hasn't heard. And
No.
he'll probably go, "What the hell were you thinking?" But here we go. Here's a little drum roll. Throw that out of the way.
Yay. All right. This year's event theme is thinking inside the box.
Inside.
Do you want to just jump
Yes.
right into the rules page?
You want to jump right? You don't. You
Or do
want
we want to just let everybody stew on this? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
dude? Yeah.
Chat, is that how it's supposed to be handled? Do
Yes.
I
You
call them
got to.
chat?
You got to
You know
engage
better than me.
the chat, the
Okay.
people.
Well,
I see chats catching up now.
this is an irony thing. The theme of trying to get people to think outside of the box. I mean, when we do integrations, like, oh, speaking of irony, this
Mhm.
is my integration wall that you can't see. These are
Oh
all my
yeah.
competition stuff. Anyway,
Ah.
most builds, when you think integration, you think large thing stuck to another thing stuck to another thing, and they tend to get really big. See, at least more than one of our winners last year. So we decided to flip that on its head a little bit and force
Yeah.
you to think in a unconventional means to still. Well, let's just jump right into the rules. You want to
Yeah,
pull up
yeah.
the
I
rules?
mean,
You,
I mean,
you
do
got
you
any
want
feedback
to
before
pull
we
up
get
the
into
you
that?
want to pull up the logo? I mean, yeah, it's in the box.
Oh,
Just
there we
pull
go.
it up.
Oh, we're getting fancy. That's right.
And then
Oh,
I just
oh,
quickly
ba-ba.
and then wait
Hey, all
one
right.
more.
You got something else in the
There
box?
we go.
Oh, man, you were good at that, man. The
Yeah,
benefits of being an artificial structure in
I
a
know. It's
semi-real
crazy.
state. Huh.
Yes. But yeah, if we
So
want to get into you want me to do a little zoomy zoom or do you want to go full
yeah,
side for
let's
the
let's
rules?
put it all the way up, just
All the
so
way up?
I think so. I just
Yeah.
we'll just cover like the first line at first.
Get there?
So
Yeah.
there we are. Thinking inside the box. The classes are divided into build box dimensions. So you can build whatever the heck you want, using whatever the heck you want, but you are confined in a cube.
Yes.
Captain Shotgun, yes, all rules will be shared. Everything you're looking at here is probably going to be posted to the Discord, and it's going to be posted
And I'm
all over the
throwing
media stuff by the end of the
I'm
night.
throwing this in chat right now if you want to follow along with the rule set. I'm just
Perfect.
gonna throw that in and see if I can. I don't know how to pin stuff. How do I pin stuff on?
You long hold on it and say pin. I know how to do a thing you don't know how to do. That never
YouTube
happens.
on YouTube chat.
Oh, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to YouTube.
Oh well, whatever. It's there.
Anyway,
I know
there's a
how to
thing
do it
there,
on
but yeah.
Discord. But yes, so the drives.
We fully intend. I'm gonna steal it just for a minute.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the rules yet. I'm just going to address Captain Shotgun here, just because this year we're trying to be more organized and having all of the rules all in a consistent, somewhat concise package that is posted everywhere, so that there's no people trying to extrapolate information based on something that was stuck in the middle of a 3-hour live stream that was mentioned once or twice and stuff like that. So it's just we're wanting to have this information everywhere. Everybody has the same information. We'll be sure to answer questions and stuff as they come up. But yes, all the rules, the how to enter, which is going to be a very specific thing, which we'll be briefly covering now, but also will be listed heavily at the first, is all going to be very easily digestible, easy to find, posted everywhere. You'll be tripping over it for the next 3 months.
Yes.
So, all right, I'll let you jump into the rules.
Yeah.
Now that that's all clear.
Well, I was just gonna say yeah, and then in Discord there's a whole section that will have the rules. It will have the schedule, have everything. Yes. So
yes,
it's
a distinct rule or distinct schedule this year as well.
Yes.
We're going to stick to this kind of bi-weekly or every other week program, but then it's going to alternate between a MERGEMASTERS event heavy, really deep dive like we did last year, and then alternating between that and kind of more of a casual, brief update, and then just more of a community chat kind of thing, answering questions and stuff. So, but there is structure and order this year, and I'm really excited for that part.
Yeah, we did stuff.
Sorry, I keep jumping all over you.
Look at us, we're professionals. Yeah, but let's just go into it. So the event this year takes place between February 1st and April 30th. That is your time to build. That's your time to mod, your time to make. There will
Don't start yet.
Yeah. And please don't start yet. That's what we'll keep clarifying. There'll be a how to enter section that's released on February 1st, midnight GMT. Specifically GMT, right?
Yes, very specific. The actual event start date and end date are GMT.
Everything, yeah.
Our streams and stuff else is local time.
Yeah, everything is very specific to the GMT. Which, if you actually do your math, that is the previous day at 4 p.m. Pacific time, or 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Later time, or Eastern time. There you go. That's the word.
So it's basically the evening of, like, for us Americans who participating. Like my local time, it'll be the evening of the day before, so we actually get to start earlier, but end earlier as well. Right? Is that how
pretty
time
much
works?
Yeah, that's how time works. But but also specifically the one thing we want to make sure to we'll keep stressing throughout this entire podcast thing. Don't start yet, as we have a very unique way to show how you started. There will be a photo involved, that require certain objects, and that's as much as we'll say on what objects there are.
And it's
And
very critical that you don't start, because if you're missing those items, it'll basically
yeah, you
prevent you
can't
from
cross the
entering.
starting line. Yeah.
It's we're doing that just for to basically prove that yes, you read the rules, you did not start early, so on and whatnot, and also it'll be fun.
Yes.
So just I know everybody's been chomping at the bit to get the rules so they can make plans, but don't start cutting just yet.
Yeah.
Really, just one
Start
more week,
planning.
2 more weeks.
Yeah, one more
I
week
guess
and a half.
about 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
So if you can hang on there, just make plans, dream big,
Dream
do a
big.
lot of
Or,
measuring.
yeah, dream big in the size constraint thing. But yeah, so
Yes.
going over it,
Yeah, go nuts.
you want to go nuts? Okay, I'll go nuts. I mean, you never have to spend money. It's all just size, right? So you had our first class minigration, because a lot of people were using the word minigration last year. So
Well, yeah,
we
that was kind of a word I coined a while back for really small integrations, like this guy. It's a double strike with a glow strike, whatever it is, on the front, and I modified the grip, and so technically this is an integration, but it's cute. I just coined the term minigration, and so that's what I named the class. I don't qualify these measurements as a minigration. That's not like any kind of rule set for anything outside of this competition. It's just
yeah,
I'll have to
it's
fix
just
that
there.
later.
But yeah, so minigrade. It's 12 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches. Obviously, we also have it in metric for everyone else, because I know we have people competing from outside the U.S. and just a little bit simpler.
And it's important to say that there's not a solid dimension of what is length, width, and height. So you can have a incredibly short and incredibly wide blaster if you want. You can interpret these dimensions however you want, as long as you can make sure that if you have a actual box that size, the blaster fits. Even if it has to like squeeze in sideways, corner to corner, or whatever, you got to fit inside that box.
Yes, exactly.
If you can make a literal box, that'd be cool. But
yeah, that's up to you. Yeah. For the minigration, the blaster doesn't have to be 12 inches long, as Nathan was saying. It could be 12 inches wide. If you want to make a 6-inch long blaster that's 12 inches wide, do it. Actually, I encourage you.
Or tall.
Yeah, or tall. Also, answering Kat's question of confused about, worried about a certain object. Everyone should have these.
I would assume so. I would be shocked if you don't, and if you don't, please reach out and we'll have a talk.
If you don't, you can literally go out to places and get them for free. Literally,
do we want people to have to leave and do homework? I mean,
yeah. Well, exactly.
You should have these things.
Reach out to us if you don't. But those things will be announced on February 1st.
Yep.
Mags do not count, correct?
Nope.
Yeah,
I wouldn't count mags, just because that's something that's interchangeable depending on what you're gonna use with. I mean, when you're taking your fancy glamour shots, you can put a fancy mag in if you want, but that's not going to affect your dimensions at all.
Yeah.
Barrels or stocks, yes, but how do we want to address that right away? I would say barrels and stocks do count, but what you do with them otherwise, you cannot take things off to. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean that's our first
folding
rule.
Elements. There we go.
Yeah,
folding elements do not come off. They do change orientation and change in their relationship to the blaster, but stay attached.
Yes, and
I believe when we go ahead.
I would say that's even the very first rule after our classes, which we haven't fully touched on yet. But yeah, the completed blaster has to fit as a single functional assembly inside the box. So if stuff moves around and stuff, awesome, but it has to be fully functional as a single unit in that build box dimension.
Correct, and one of the when we were making the rules, Caster actually brought up and said, okay, well, what if it's a breakdown, like a takedown Caliburn or something like that? It breaks into smaller pieces, but you can't use it in that configuration.
Yes,
and so it was very much needs to be usable and complete in any kind of configuration, or however you fit it in the box. It still needs to function. Obviously, there again with the magazine, that's not an issue. The blaster can still function without a magazine, and that's not magazine is a separate deal.
Because if you want to make a custom magazine and like say you went in integration and you made like a stupid custom magazine that was 10 times as long as the blaster, that would amuse me. So please do that. You know, like a tiny sidearm pistol with like an 80 round mag would be amazing. But
what if the mag isn't fully removable? Jeremy, what is the mag?
oh,
Isn't fully removable? Are you talking like a built-in, what do you call it, an internal mag?
well, yeah. As soon as
Then I would say if it's integrated to the blaster, I would say then it would count as part of the blaster, right?
yes.
We thought we had everything figured out when we
No.
made these rules, huh?
People poking holes in our rules. It's all good. That's what we want you guys to do. That's why we have this thing. But yes, if it's fully part of the blaster, it has to be. It can't be removed, and it does count as the blaster. For let's see, so I'm going through the questions. We have some more questions of making sure. Let's see, we got accessories. We answered that. Mag's not fully removable. Did I miss anyone's going?
The two blasters have to be different. Nope, you can, as we saw, was it last year? Was that Tusk, or was that
was Tusk with the six different blasters of the same one put together.
Just in a row, and then shortly thereafter built 4 or 5 barricades in a row. Yep, as long as it's a thing that's integrated, I don't care what it is.
Yeah. Just show that by having the two of the same blasters right next to each other in the photo with the other items. With Cat saying, does it count if the blaster only fits the box diagonally? Yes, that's actually a thing we're going to touch on how to enter, but we'll keep touching that now. What we highly suggest to do is take your tape measure and put like a 2-dimensional box, quote unquote, on the ground, whether you use tape, whether you use cardboard, something. That way you can
compare.
Yeah, you can make the most use out of your space by having it at angles and stuff.
What we were originally going to do, just all the classes were going to be in a literal shoebox. Yeah. Something that pretty much anybody has or has access to. That way you have a physical thing you can put your thing into, but then we couldn't come up with enough classes that would be different in the same size, so that's why we just did the different sizes for the different classes.
Yeah, you don't have to show a receipt of purchase. You just no. It's the physical photo. The starting photo will have the starting blasters, and as we we'll also reiterate, those don't have to be the blasters you finish with. Ideally, probably one should be, but
I mean, I would assume so, but it's basically just to give a starting point to kind of build speculation, kind of gives a suggestion of what direction you're headed with. Everything can totally change, but at least it lets us know that, yes, I'm planning on doing a thing, I'm thinking about doing this. If you end up changing stuff later on, I totally understand. That's the nature of integrations. They kind of develop as what you intend at the beginning isn't necessarily what the blaster wants to become at the end, but it at least gives a clear intent of I want to build something, and kind of gives us something to talk about. How's that? Is that fair? It gives us something to talk about.
And it shows yeah, exactly. And it shows you haven't started, like you didn't already have because more than likely we'll see pistols. And even going back into the class, then we have the compact, which is 16 by 9 by 9, and then Gulliver, which is 24 by 14 by 14, which could be a reasonable carbine.
Yeah, and so we're definitely trying to focus on smaller overall. Next year it might be everything really big. There might be a minimum
size
instead of a maximum size or something like that. But it's just we wanted to basically make it to where the biggest class is essentially what the average integration would be, just to try to get everybody to consolidate and see how clever they can be on a smaller scale. And also, since I think a lot of people would naturally gravitate towards the biggest possible option, so that might be where the most competition is. So somebody might want to try to go into the minigration because there might not be as much competition there, and so they might have to be flexible with what they do with that. And so the idea is just, like I said, to kind of stimulate new ideas and flex some different creative muscles. But
Yeah.
let's keep plowing through these rules. We're getting a lot of questions that are going
Oh,
to be
yeah.
touched on by the rules, so let's
Yeah.
plow ahead.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we got build box, functional assembly, rule 0, which should been at the top, but we wanted to get the dimensions out of the way. It's not necessarily don't be a jerk, but also refrain from going against the spirit of the competition. And so if it's one of those things where if you have to ask, well, is it illegal if I do this thing? It's like, well, then it probably will be. It's especially goes along with the 3D printing part of things.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
allowed, but if you're relying on a printed kit to do most of the work, then that goes against the spirit of the competition, and so it would be a no.
Yeah.
But we did away with all the weird rigmarole of the percentages and the minimum this and maximum of these, like shell count or anything like that. It's just build whatever you want as long as there's at least 2 blasters in it. And
Yep.
even if you have a single, like if you do like a strife with just a bunch of random bits glued all over it,
Strife won't.
you know,
I guess Strife would fit in Gulliver.
yeah, it'd be you still have to be pretty conservative with it. But as far as just like, you don't have to do like 2 whole blasters with the minimum size of this, and you have to use at least this much of this and these many and all this kind of stuff. It's just build whatever your heart desires. It's like whatever gets in your mind. Be like, I'm going to use 30 different blasters. Great. It's like, well, I can do everything I want to with 2 blasters. Awesome. I want to see how that goes. It's that simple. And so it's just going to be so much easier to not judge, but make sure everything is within spec and within the rules by just doing away with that this time. We'll see how it goes. We may implement that in a future competition depending on how the rule set and theme and everything works, but we're going to see how this works, just basically opening up your freedom to as much as you can put into that box.
Yep. And so Neon Blues is the intent to be that you can fit it into a box. So like removable cosmetics can be assembled, included in the measurements, or that the box can fit, or wow, I can't talk. Or yeah, there you go. I can read, I promise.
Basically, you can't just have a box full of loose parts. How's that? I mean, is that
yeah.
is that
Well,
fair?
no, I think this goes back to the like the stocks and the barrels is what people were asking earlier. The as long as the blaster's functional, so that's what they're asking. Then you have the cosmetic attachment bits. Is that
correct? But I've got to go back to where.
Again, something. We're getting something.
Well, I was going to get something, but I think I just hit a flywheel blaster because something's making noise. So I'll be right back.
Okay. Yep. You notice Mr. Nathan has a new mic and it doesn't pick up background sound. I mean, yeah, it is at the end of the day, it's an integration competition.
That was a motorized bazooka.
Oh, nice. And you still have batteries in it?
Apparently. Whoops.
See, Primate, I'm the same way. When I build big. My very first ever mod was an arm-mounted Vulcan that was twice the size of a Vulcan. I don't recommend it. But the way we're looking at it is with the side constraints. It gives you a little bit of you got to really think about it. And it's only the very final thing that, of course, has to fit within the box. And you have all this room that the blaster could change shape. Technically, the entire volume makeup of a Vulcan, if you were just to smush all the parts together, would fit into a Gulliver class.
Does everybody understand the Gulliver reference, or am I just that old and weird?
Gulliver's Travel. Yeah. People at least will know the Jack Black movie that didn't do that well.
Basically, the idea was he was considered a giant compared to the Lilliputians, but he was just an average guy. So it's like we have an average-sized integration, but it's the biggest class, and so it was. I was feeling clever that day when we made the rules.
Yeah, it was good. But because I did a rough measurement of a Vulcan, and if you were just without all the air gaps and everything, if you were to push it all together, it would fit inside easily into the Gulliver box. So if you have things fold and unfold, there's ways. There's ways to mess with
Well,
stuff.
see, what my idea was. Hi, I'm just blocking the camera. Hi,
Yeah.
camera. Poppy, what are you doing in my seat? Excuse me. Let's get out. Up. Out. Thank you. I can't find the barrel, but the old Max Force Sawtooth
Mhm.
has like a collapsible stock, but then also the barrel unsnapped and then fit on the top as a scope. And so it's still the whole blaster, but it's reconfigured. But it's still functional both ways, but yet all the parts fit both ways as well. And so that was kind of my inspiration for how do you manage something that has a barrel and a stock into a smaller box. You make it change configurations, but yet everything still attaches.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what a fancy optic that's up here that might affect the height could it be mounted, say, on the bottom of a barrel and be like also magically some kind of light kind of thing in that cool imagination that we have.
Yeah.
But yet it would be less affected because it's got the grip height and stuff like that. It's there again, you're having to think outside the box to fit inside the box. And so that is the wonderful irony that I'm really hoping works.
Yes.
Ultimately, I hope people don't just hate it and they're like, maybe I'll just wait till next year. So please just play along.
It's doing its thing. So we have a few questions. One which will be answered by the rules, but I'm happy to we touch base on that a few times.
Yeah, sorry, I was kind of out of sorts digging through boxes for a minute.
No, you're good.
So
for by Captain Shotgun, can I enter 2 to 3 classes with 2 to 3 different blasters? Multiple entries are allowed, and this is in the rule sets as well. And every once in a while I'll keep posting this Google Docs link, and it's in there. But yeah, we'll just quickly touch base on it now. You can enter a second blaster but you have to have completed your first one. So once your first one's
fully, be in a different class.
Yeah, completely different class. So one class per blaster. Yeah, it's one blaster per class essentially.
But yeah, please do your first one first, so at least you have one entry. Because I think if you try to build 2 at once and you end up not getting either of them completed, that'd be a bummer. And so, yeah, do one, get it finished, then you can do another one for a different class.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, someone's asking about drums. Are removable drums the same way as mags?
You're talking for like a what the heck's the thing called? Was it the Magnum? Was the big 20 or 40 round drum thing?
Yeah. That'd be.
I guess you'd have to consider that like a magazine, wouldn't you?
If you were to, if part of your integration is hot swappable, I'm gonna make an on the fly rule set, and also with primate was asking a big one, or primate and tusks are kind of along the same size of transforming blasters. Transforming blasters are not only allowed, but I'd say very much encouraged.
I would say yes. You have our blessing on that one.
Yeah, it just has to function in that build. Like you say, you can't go, it transformed, but it's just a pile of broken Legos that you build together. It has to be a single unit when you put it in that box. The dimensions
and it's technically got to fit in both orientations as well, both modes.
Yes.
Well, I guess no.
Wait, no. Does that have to fit?
No. That's correct. I misspoke. I apologize.
Yeah, does not have to fit in both modes. It just has one of the modes has to be able to fit into that box.
Correct. So I'm actually looking across my table here, and I can see the old. Was it the 2007 Transforming Optimus Prime, where you have your hand inside the truck and you crank the thing back and goes and pops up the little blaster barrel thing? Something like that. I think that would fit in a build box.
I'm going to say this right now. We're going to do a shout out to the largest. It's only brownie points or bonus points, but there will be a shout out to the largest blaster.
in each class.
in
You know,
each
the one that
class.
uses the most space,
Most space, yeah. So it just if you want to
as
do
well
that,
as the smallest.
yeah. Oh yeah, world's smallest. We want to see world's smallest integrated Nerf blaster. I mean, it's kind of already have been done. So yeah.
You know, years ago I saw a knockoff. I think it was based on a Firefly, but it was like a little tiny pistol-sized thing. And I wanted so bad to integrate that with one of those the little microshot strifes and make a tiny strifly, but I never actually found those in the wild around here. But it's still one of my kind of white whale builds that I want to make. That's just a tiny single shot strifly integration.
That'd be
Anyway,
funny.
sorry, that's not
No, it's all
rules.
right.
We're doing rules here.
There's rules. And yeah, so Captain, you could build 3 as long as you basically you'd have to do 2, right? So you build the first one, then you can enter the second one. You got to finish the second one and then build the third one. And if you can do that, I salute you, because that is a lot of modding, even though you got a few months to do it.
But yeah, definitely start with the first one before you
Yeah.
start the second. Finish finish the first before you start the second. Finish the second before you start the third, and then if you finish all 3, then wow, bless you. That's impressive.
Yes. Yeah. So going back to the rules things, as we've mentioned before, physical work can't begin until midnight GMT, February 1st.
We can't impress that enough.
Yeah, we can't impress that enough. There's a whole kind of how to setup that we have. We have a document and we'll have a video available, and we'll answering questions on the Discord of the how to enter. But it is a bit of a process. We'll get through the rule set and then we'll walk you through as much of the process we can, also on the stream, to give you guys an idea. It is a little convoluted, but it's to make sure you read the rules and everyone entered at the correct way. No getting ahead. Yeah, so what do we have? Yeah, so we have the entry, blaster parts, including your photo, not locked in. You can add, change parts, project develops. The entry photo, as we mentioned, entry photo is just to initiate project, help gauge progress, make sure you read the
yeah,
rules.
and the entry photo is kind of the first step, because we're going to. I think we've pretty much covered all that part of things, but yeah, before I get too carried away, the entry photo is like the first photo that's going to be in your build log or your personal build coverage, and you're going to have a certain number of pictures that just kind of cover the build process for the process of it's part of the how to enter and stuff like that, which will be covered on the first.
So we have some video. We have a video that will be coming out the first, when basically the first midnight GMT. So it depends on your location. The video will come up. It'll be announced on the Discord. There'll be the document, and at least one of us will be available to answer questions via the Discord. You're like, hey, I'm not really in this. As I said, we'll walk you through it a little bit today of how to enter. But the full thing will be on the first, and there's reasons for that, just so that way everyone enters at the same time.
Yeah, we'll make sure that the basics are covered, but without the specifics that are crucial to the start time.
Yes. Yeah. So we have not locked in. We have to actually explain how the enter process for not commenting on any other entry competitors' forum posts and all that stuff. But okay, so answer.
Yeah, let's get caught up on the chat questions real quick before we kind of change gears into the how-tos.
So for Captain Shotgun, we encourage it. Please, post wherever you want. Please, social media, as much. What I want to do is gauge. I'm gonna gauge some how much do an expression of interest. If people want to kind of a breakdown of ideas of how to set up different content for their builds. We want people to post this as much as possible. I'd love the majority of our contestants or entrants to post their stuff on social media, both video based and image based, because that feeds the algorithm. As the contest goes on, if people are interested, I'm happy to hold a workshop of just a break by break, or just a full breakdown of what type of content you should easy content to make with what you're doing, how to really double dip it, how to feed into the algorithm, so on and so forth. Um, and how you're posting your builds is going to be different this year. Primate, it is going to be all on Discord. If you guys all saw, we had the build log set up that we did earlier this year. And
the logbook section is kind of the precursor to what entries are going to look like this year.
yeah. And now I'm going to make it visible for everyone on the Discord.
Hooray.
I've just made visible, and I'll need you guys to guarantee it. To let me know. The Merge Masters 2025 section on the Merge Masters Discord should now be viewable only.
Because nobody should be entering anything yet.
Yeah.
Not until the 1st.
And this is where I'm going. I think I can. I'm just going to throw this on the screen because that's basically all that stuff. Let me take a little screenshot here. Yeah, let's take a little screenshot. Let's throw this right here. Oh, your posting is what happened? Post on Discord, but the Discord's going to be kind of the progress, and like I said, we're going to kind of go over that now. Let me just quickly zoom into this. So everyone should hopefully now, it should be there. See the Merge Masters. Let me just get rid of this document. Let's go over here. I can do stuff on the fly. In Discord, everyone should be able to see these channels now into the Merge Masters 2025 category. You'll see the rules. I'll obviously have the rules. I have the Word document. I did just add it for everyone. So if you can't see it, please, yeah, we have one person say they can't see it. Sync now. Oh, I didn't. Oh, it's because I didn't sync all the permissions. Whoops. Hang on.
While you do that, we got the questions backing up like crazy, so I'm going to just kind of scroll back a little bit.
You keep answering the questions.
Can be longer if it folds and breaks down. If it needs to fit within the size parameters fully assembled. Sorry in advance for asking questions. That has been addressed. It needs to basically, it can fold and break down, but it has to be functional in the condensed mode. It still needs to be functional, and you can't just take parts off and lay them in the box. Technically, they have to still be part of the blaster, even if it's just reconfigured differently. Build with max 3 blasters, yes. Does a collapse deploy count, or do you need to be able to function in its smallest state? Yes, it still needs to function, and so, I mean, you could probably modify a deploy to still function when it's condensed, but yeah, it still has to function properly in its condensed state. It doesn't have to be practical or whatever, but it does have to still be in one piece and functional inside the box. But what about a blaster you can keep sticking stuff to make it bigger and cooler? So base blaster's mini, and level 2's bigger and 3 levels. I think you would have to have that in you just have to pick a lane and commit. I mean, I am all for the idea, and if you build something like that, you could enter it in whatever class, and I would love to see something like that, but you could only have it in one class. You can't use the same blaster. You can't do the same work for 3 different classes, if that makes sense.
Yep, and I saw the thing about history. I am fixing that now because something happened with my syncing. I had this all in one button that I could push, and it was like, no, you're not allowed to make this easy. Remember, what do we say? 5% less technical, 10, 15% less technical.
You said 10.
10?
We've been doing 10%.
10,
and
10%
I think since we
we
upped upped the scope of potential of issues, and yet we're still doing all right. I think we still fit in there good enough.
Yeah.
Posted exclusively to Discord. Yes, that's we're about to cover that. Oh gosh, everything just updated now. I'm trying to get back.
Good.
Can I use shells from non-functional blasters, noise machines, super soakers, or other non-blaster plastic shells? Anything, basically anything in that realm, whether it's Nerf, off-brand foam dart blasting, super soakers, little plastic laser gun things. We had I remember who it was discussing like, can I use a piece of a trumpet on a blaster last year? And we said,
Do it.
yeah, let's see that. Let's see what that looks like. So yeah, basically anything that fits within that theme. We even had, was it Vile had the payphone cord?
Payphone, yeah.
The cable for the payphone that integrated that in as part of the blaster, and that was perfect. So yeah, anything. It's not brand specific or genre specific, as long as it kind of fits within the same vibe. I mean, obviously, even metal stuff. I mean, if you can figure out some clever way to integrate metal things in there, then I'm sure that's as long as it fits within Rule 0. I mean, as long as you're not, as long as it doesn't,
If you have a plastic chair, you get so much bonus points. So much bonus points. But
not seen it.
Yeah. So there was one question with we want to make sure we touch on the posting. So now that hopefully everyone could see, I made it so you could see the history, of this. You'll have our rules. Obviously, that'll just be the real rules and schedule. You will never be able to post in. The Minigration Compact Gulliver, these function just like our logbooks, like the logbook in the Discord. You'll make a logbook for your blaster, and you basically then you just keep updating that individual logbook. How this works is anyone who enters, they'll email us, they'll send us with the picture. We'll have a full form of the exact information we want. You basically you give us all the correct information, you give us the correct picture, we check a little box, and we add you on Discord to a special role of MERGEMASTERS 25 participant. That will allow you to basically post in the forums. So that'll give you access to the Minigration Compact or Gulliver thing. Gulliver forum post. You pick whatever one you decide to go into, and you post away. You make one post, and as we said on the rules, please do not comment another competitor's entry post. The reason we did that is I didn't want to go through all the trouble of making it so you only can make one forum post. It's a lot of headache. So it's just, yes, you have access to all of them. You can comment on them, but as your competitor, don't. We'll give you 2 warnings. Maybe you screwed up one night or whatever. That's fine. But after the 3rd time, we're just going to go, okay, look, we tried. Better luck next year.
Yeah, well, we applaud you for wanting to make comments on somebody else's post, say, hey, that looks really cool, or ask questions about it. But because the forum posts, the actual build logs that you are building, those are what is going to be the judged material. So we're wanting to keep that as clean as possible to basically make concise information for people who will be looking at that to judge your blaster.
Yes.
Basically, we're going to extract all that information to put into the final ballot post, basically. And so if you have a bunch of weird questions in there that people have to filter through, it's going to be a headache. And so basically all the information should be you posting pictures, talking about the blaster, talking about the specs, what you did. You can tell a story, you can add fiction to it, you can do whatever you want. All the information you want to show off the work you did and everything you want to share about your blaster is going to be in that forum post.
Yeah.
And so basically that's why we don't want anybody commenting and muddying the waters. That's what the general chat for MERGEMASTERS will be.
And that will be open tonight. We had this. I was originally not going to open it to the 1st, but Nathan and I were discussing a bit tonight, and so I'm going to open that text channel tonight. And so if you guys want to discuss, I'm thinking of building this, I'm thinking of build this, go for it. That MERGEMASTERS 2025 open chat is for once it's open. It's just for
anything.
Yeah, well, try to keep it to MERGEMASTERS 2025.
Well, yeah, but I mean, anything related to whether it's particular builds, clarification on rules. Yeah, it is for all things MERGEMASTERS this event.
Yeah.
Which is tricky since it's the MERGEMASTERS generic Discord, and it's a MERGEMASTERS 25 within the Merge Masters, but special event questions and stuff like that can all go into that chat channel. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Using reactions. Yeah, you know what? I'll make that available.
That
If you want
yeah
to throw a thumbs up on it, that's fine.
that's perfect.
That's fine. Yeah. It's just
Yep.
it's you won't, unless you're an actual competitor, you're not going to be able to comment on it anyway. The way you, if you want to, go, oh, I really like that. That's the open text channel. Go to town on that.
And it's basically it's to make our lives easier, but also it's just to make it easier for anybody else viewing that wants to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Not having a bunch of other side talk and questions and unnecessary comments. All for the spirit of, hey, that's a cool thing that you're building. That's great, but it's just that's not the place for it.
Yeah, it's really just to make our lives easier. We're still going to do the same voting as last year with the Google Forms, and it's all good there. We will have
that way we can just copy all the information word for word of what you said about your blaster and then move it over, so that we're not trying to cut and move this around and extract that other part.
And you guys don't have to email. Oh, I forgot to email. It's
you were responsible for your own input this time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Trying to do it on the fly in the middle of a stream again.
Yeah, it's all your input. And then how grading will go is the last photos you post, and they can be a bunch, will be, but it's the last ones will basically be the shots that we use for the final images and the measurement shot. So you have like a tape measure on the ground, or you did the build box and you tape out, you measured the build box, and you're just showing us that they're the correct dimensions. Also, as we mentioned before, you're not stuck to your class. If you're going, let's say you're going Gulliver, but you realize you can make it a lot smaller, you go to Minigration. You would have, I'd say message me or Nathan. Message me. No offense, Mr. Mr. Nathan, but at me on Discord, at me in the thing, is like, hey, I need to move classes, or just direct message me. I'll make my direct messages open. And I will move your thing per class.
And really, if you start building, say, in one class, and you decide, I'm just going to abandon that altogether and just totally change gears, you can just start with a new entry photo for your new class and go that route. That way you're not trying to undo a whole lot of weird stuff. If you're just changing size on the existing project, we can move you over. But if you're basically abandoning one project and starting a new one, then I would treat that as a whole new project, or a whole new entry.
Yeah, and I believe that's just if you're completely scrapping the project, that's also just, we delete and we re-add you to the new one.
Yeah, you're still competing, you're just doing a different thing altogether, then that's...
Yeah.
But if you're just like, this is my project, but I'm going to go smaller with it than I expected, or bigger, or whatever, then we can just move you from one class to the other.
100%. Yeah, let's see. Okay, let's see. Any questions before we move on to schedule? I think would be the next thing to touch base on.
Yeah, because I think we covered enough how to enter without getting into the nitty-gritty that we should not get into yet. So I would say pop into the advanced coverage and kind of breeze through that.
Yeah,
give chat a few minutes to kind of get caught up if there's do belts count, i.e. Vulcan Ragefire? Yeah, no, that's fine. No, I would say I think we've pretty much determined if your ammo holder things are not integrated into the blaster, they don't count. As far as chains, magazines, drums, and stuff, if it's a thing that you use multiple of, a thing that you remove to reload, then that does not count towards your size.
If you design it to be able to be removable. If it holds the ammo and it's designed to be, and it's either A, removable, or you design it to be removable, go for it. Especially if you design it to move. I'd love to see some hot swap barrels. Or not drums.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like my the Warthog Mastodon project up here, where it's got the giant cylinder hanging off of it, but if it needed to fit in a build box, it is set up to be hot swappable, where you just pull a couple linkages and drop that cylinder out. I would consider that a removable, and not part of the class dimensions.
And any ammo type.
Oh man,
We
heck
didn't.
yeah!
Yeah, we didn't actually. We need to. So it's actually that reminds me of something we didn't include the rules that we need to include the rules. The
It's
blaster
got to
has to
fire
fire
something.
has to fire some form of foam-ish
I
ammo.
would have assumed that what is it? I guess a single functional assembly. I guess yes. The function is to still fire a dart.
Yes. I mean,
So
rival vortex
what
disc,
a
Titan
a
rocket.
yes, the colloquialism of dart, whatever shape that dart is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got to fire a accepted lowercase nerf projectile.
pretty much. Yeah.
So
Actually, I'm gonna do this
someday
on
we
the.
may do a strictly cosmetic, make it look like whatever you want and doesn't have to fire. Maybe we'll do that sometime. But as far as the basic Merge Masters expectations, I would say is it's still got to be a Nerf gun lowercase.
Boom. Yeah, but no, Boomco straws would count.
Oh yeah, no, it's I say that all falls under the lowercase Nerf umbrella.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Problem is this window's in the way for me. Hang on, let me see if I can pop this out really quick. Nope, I can't. Oh well, you guys will just get a little bit of a behind the scenes flavor as I just
Ooh, I'm
copy and
excited.
paste this.
I don't
Oh,
even know what that means.
they're just gonna see because I there we go. Yeah, they can just
Obviously, I
see
would
that little
say,
recorder.
oh, I would suspect that something that fires Titan rockets probably would not fit in any of the build boxes. Other than that, I think you're pretty safe
Yeah.
as far as dart types. But if
So
you can make it work,
yeah, exactly. Make it
please
work.
surprise me.
Please do. Okay, so this the event schedule I used a universal time code in Discord. So yes, we have our dates, but you also if you highlight it over it in Discord, it will pop up with the exact time for whatever time zone your computer and or phone is in. So if your computer is not the same time zone you're in, I can't do anything for you there, but it should. Some people have stuff weird stuff. But yeah, so that should be all there. But we also have the thing if you want to convert it yourself, with the the date and everything. But yeah, so on February 1st, midnight GMT, in 12 days, Merge Masters 2025 begins. The second, which is we're jumping around from GMT to PST EST, which is technically
There again,
yeah.
the streams are different than the actual event start and end. It's the start and end that are on GMT just because it is a global event, but the live streams are still a local coverage kind of thing. That's how I figured it. Just that way, it's not like, well, how come it's got to be midnight on wherever Mr. Nathan's house is? It's just like that way. There's no bias. It's the global standard of whatever the first is. Just makes it easier for accountability and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, wait, why did that not work? No, no.
Also, the second is going to be a bit of a unique stream because I'm going to be in Florida and I'll be streaming from a hotel probably. So I have
Yeah.
no expectation on what that's going to look or sound like. It's going to be a step down in quality probably for a little bit, but
We'll make it
also if
work.
there's any Nerf stuff going on that weekend in Florida, reach out to me and let me know, just in case.
Yeah.
But just so yeah, the second comes along, you're not thinking that things went down the tubes and that's how it's going to stay. It's because I'll be filming on location.
On location.
Everything else should be fine.
Live. Yeah. But yeah. So, but we should be okay. And then the second, which is actually 2 days later from the start time, because if anyone's done the math, February 1st, if you're especially on it's the January 30th or 31st.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be 2 days, not the next day.
So
time's weird, man.
yeah, it's actually it's actually 48 hours exactly from the live stream.
Well,
But
heck, that's
yeah,
cool.
it is. Yeah, it works. But on that February 2nd, once again, we're going to do a Q&A of the rules and how to enter, and we'll walk you guys through step by step of how to enter. In
But
case
we'll
anyone's
also
confused.
we'll have we'll have the video posted and all of the text information posted on the first, like the GMT, so that people who are following on social media and stuff will have all that information the instant they need it. The live stream will basically just reiterate and help clarify.
Yes,
But
yes.
because instead of doing a live stream, instead of doing like a full stream on the first and everything, and then doing another live stream to stay on the regular schedule, it's just easier to say, here's when things begin, here's all the information. A day's not going to make a huge difference, but it at least gets the information out there when it's supposed to be out there, and then the stream will basically to reinforce and clarify instead of trying to explain from scratch.
Yeah. And I'll be in the Discord, floating around, so that you just, hey, I'm confused about this, or something. Also, if you're on the Discord during that day and you decide, okay, cool, I understand it, and you submit it, and you get a message from me, that means you didn't submit it correctly. So I will try to go out of my way that first day of going, okay, this is what you missed. Here, do this really quick so you can actually get going.
Yeah, because your initial submission is going to be via email. Once you're confirmed, you'll get the permission to start the post
Yeah.
on the logs. But that'll all be clarified and everything, and in text on the how to enter section, which will be posted on the 1st.
Yes. Yeah.
Or the January 30th GMT, however that works.
The first GMT. It's fine. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a little confusing, but yeah,
it's
we'll get there. It's for everyone, all the international competitors. We did have a few last year, so hopefully we'll have a few more this year.
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, then we're gonna keep doing the every 2 weeks thing. February 14th, we'll, kind of gauge more, or no, not February 2nd. Also, one thing I want to point out was that first one. We'll also kind of do the off to the races type thing of if you do end up submitting, we're gonna go, okay, these people got right off the starting line. Look at them go type thing. And just kind of giving out a little shout out of awesome job for getting,
some of our early starters. Yeah.
early starters. But then the 16th, we'll kind of go more over MERGEMASTERS stuff. But the second, which we're gonna do this once a month. Oh, I lost internet connection for a second. You good? You hear me?
Uh-oh. Yeah, you're
Okay,
you're
we're
still
good.
here.
Okay, cool. Looking at the thing. I just went like, ooh, but it was just like a microsecond, so we're still connected. That's all good. Yeah, so the second we're gonna go deep dives with Q&A. So we're gonna go through each how we went through the spreadsheet last year. We're gonna go through the logbooks this year. A lot of speculation, a lot of kind of going deep into blasters, what they've done this month for that month and everything, and ogling them and oogling them.
Yeah, we're gonna try to be a bit more objective this year. I know I got personally invested a lot into, especially early on, in a lot of them, and it felt like I was really covering certain ones very heavily because they, basically got in earlier. I'm trying to be more objective with coverage this year and more speculative with things, and then doing more of a super deep dive personally after the fact, after the competition's all over, with more of a personal investment, just as far as a reflection of things. But since this is technically event coverage, I want to be as fair and objective with everything as possible.
Yeah,
but we're still digging deep.
Yeah, we're still going to do deep. We're going to do that once a month, with the other one more just being like touching base, seeing how everyone's doing.
Just quick check in and just kind of showing you what if anybody else has anybody new entered the ring, any big changes in other projects and stuff, but without quite the depth. Or just to check in.
That's a question from Cats. Are we allowed to start a second blaster if we only have paint left and we are waiting for the weather to improve on the first?
I would say that seems like a reasonable expectation. Like I would say if the build is done and you're just waiting for weather and stuff, and I think that kind of things is fair. You can
Yeah.
only do what you can with the weather. So, yeah, I would say that would be a extenuating circumstance.
Yeah.
So yes, you have our blessing, but yeah, make sure it's like actually, you know, ready for primer and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's once again rule 0.
Eh, Exactly. That's a lot of questions I think can be answered by Rule 0. But if it is something really weird, just because of the nature of how weird the rule set is, go ahead and if we're on a stream, ask. If we're not on a stream, throw it in the general chat or message us directly or whatever seems most appropriate,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure we clarify it. But yeah, if it's check Rule 0 first. That's always the
Yeah.
gut check, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Gut check and then keep going. But yeah. So yeah, we'll be
Like,
doing that.
am I
Do the
trying to
rest.
cheat? Yes, no, then
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, it's so let's see. We'll go into the next one. Next set. Oh, that was a wrong cut. Let's see if I
yeah,
can
I understand.
re-edit that.
Winter being what it is around at least my Woods Neck, then yeah, you're really bound by it, what the weather's doing, and so that's I think that's reasonable. If we're in the middle of summer, then maybe not quite so flexible on that, but yeah, weather is such a huge contributing factor, especially for paint.
Yep. So the next really big date for the schedule would be April 30th, 11:59 and 59 seconds. Once again, GMT. That is when we say Merge Master ends. That's when building. That's when modding ends.
Correct.
What's gonna happen on that time? And I'm gonna at everyone that day. I'll make sure if we see something
And we'll have
that
little reminders and stuff, especially in the last couple of weeks. We'll probably have little reminders saying,
yeah.
"Hey, this much left, for people who aren't on the stream all the time."
Yeah, because 3 days before we'll have our last Merge Master, the deep dive. And if we're like, well, this one looks like it was 90% done and you just never finished, we'll we'll make a little message, make sure. But basically at April 30th, 11:59, I lock out everyone from the forums, so you can still view them, but you can no longer update them. So at that point, we need your final photos have to be there. That includes the glamour shot photos and the measurement photos, and any information you wanted to include on it. We will keep reminding you. There'll be a lot of just mention, keep adding it, and all good if you're like, I just can't finish this because life gets away, because life happens. So we get that.
Oh yeah.
But we'll make sure we keep reminding you just in case you're a little forgetful. But yeah, we will be locking everyone out because that's when it closes. That's when works Dremel's down essentially.
Yeah, and at weather permitting and everything, that doesn't matter. That's at that point that is
Yeah.
the cutoff.
Yeah.
If you didn't manage to finish your project in time for the competition, we still obviously encourage you to finish it regardless and still share the information.
Yes.
You'll still be judged on where you were at the cutoff point.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so the following week we'll be doing an entire weekend of streams.
Which we did a similar thing last year where we
Yes.
basically took one class, brought in as many people as we could, had them promote their own blaster. We're definitely doing that again this year.
Yeah. I haven't brought this up with Nathan yet, but this may be a little. This is currently the schedule. If we happen to get a lot of people, we might have to change the schedule a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we hope to have at least as many people enter this year as last year, but we don't know how many more that's going to be. And yeah, if it is out of line and just undoable, we might have to have
break
we
down.
just have a big week-long stream fest. I don't know what it's going to look like. Well, that's subject to change.
Yeah, exactly. The schedule's a little bit subject to change, but we're going to try to stick by it as much as we can.
This is our goal.
Yeah, bonus points for good pet picks. If you can get your pet to hold your blaster, I'm just saying. Figure it out.
Yeah. When in doubt, yes, pets always.
Yes, always. But so we'll anyone that wants to come on and talk about their blaster during these streams, we'll set up times essentially. We'll give everyone the same amount of time.
And we'll start coordinating that probably towards the middle or end of April. We'll start coordinating as far as this is what we're doing, and people who want to be involved, let us know so we can kind of have an idea of how many to expect,
Yeah,
stuff
and
like that. Try to have it scheduled a little bit of an itinerary of who's getting covered when and stuff like that.
yeah, and obviously, if you can't make it, you have a couple options. We're happy. Just I could be your state. We could be your state mandated hype man, if need be,
Yeah,
because this is your
and
campaigning essentially.
yeah, and if you cannot join, then we'll just basically go through your build log and give that
Yeah,
information and go a little deeper into it than we would have otherwise.
yeah. Or
But
if
if you're
it,
able to make it, that'd be great.
yeah, and the other thing which we had last year is we had Jerry post a video, make a video, and
Oh, that's right. I
yeah,
forgot
we
about
shared
that.
that.
Yeah, we had.
So
I think we had a couple did that actually.
yeah,
Shared a little shooting video and a little overview kind of thing that
yeah,
actually worked out pretty well. So yeah, if that's all you're able to contribute because of schedule or whatever, reach out to us and we'll try to figure out how to make that work.
yeah. We'll make sure
But
you're there. But then right
we got
after
3 months to figure it out.
yeah, we got 3 months. That little timer right there. We got 3 months. But as the May the 4th, May the 4th be with us.
That wasn't intentional, but it worked out nice.
So intention. The after the Gulliver essentially vote for me stream, voting immediately will start. And
Yeah,
then
we'll basically post the link to the ballot when we say, okay, go, click. We'll post that, and then go for it.
someone's writing. A Neon wants to write poetry. Please write poetry about your blaster.
Hey, man, that works.
I want to
Like I
see
said,
some.
if you want to add fiction or anything else, anything that hypes up your blaster, put it at basically your build log. That's your domain. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want that's appropriate in there.
Yes. One thing I also say, if you are going to be doing content, and we'll cover this more in the how to entry, you drop your socials and all your links in your build log. You do that right in the
Yes.
beginning. You can link that
Mhm.
anywhere. Because I want to see it. If you're doing like a time lapse or like a day by day, or if you've literally documented your entire life for those 3 months, I will fast forward through some of it, but I will watch it if you're building the blaster most of the time.
And we'll also be doing a hashtag MERGEMASTERS 2025 this year, and hope that it goes better than last year's. Instagram was kind of stupid last year,
Instagram,
but just that way, the whole event is a little bit more searchable in the social media stuff as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so then the final thing, we'll have a little final push. I have notes in there that's not supposed to be there. That's fine. The final push. On May
I put
11th.
that in there. That's
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. No, that's because it is Mother's Day and Maryland's going on in there. That's still going to be in the thing. Basically, there's not much to cover except to say, hey, people are still voting. This is your last chance to vote. A reminder that people that are at Maryland should be voting as well, even though you're having a good time. And make sure to call your mother because it's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a quick stream because it's Mother's Day and you shouldn't be on the stream all the time. But yeah, no, that was also a reminder to anybody checking the schedule that you should probably call your mom anyway.
Yeah. A little heads up, all that, and then yeah. So May 12th, once again, GMT. Voting closes.
Yep, we close it out.
Yep, fully close that
And then,
out. And
it'll take us a little bit of time to kind of get things organized and have our little presentation and all that. And so we're giving ourselves a little bit of time to make it look nice, so we can have a nice official presentation. Make sure that all the awards type stuff is coordinated as well as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, then that's the 25th, 4 p.m. We'll announce the results. We'll have a little award ceremony. Yeah, and it'll be.
And then everybody can take a nap and rest because they did a lot of good work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, I know we're not going to touch too much on it. But prizes. I know we wanted to make a little hint at that.
We had a remarkably impressive prize pool last year. We hope to have one this year as well. At the very least, we are going to have the same Discord role, Merge Master, Meister, and Maven roles given out to the winners. And yes, we do have a couple so far. We have a few items added to the prize pool, but we are hoping to build that as the event progresses, and we'll update and just kind of feed those out a little bit as the event goes along as well.
Yeah. We'll definitely touch on some more in March, but
Yeah,
it's just like last year. We don't really want to put the
we
prizes. Yeah,
don't want to play all of our cards yet.
exactly.
Build because you want to first, and then just be surprised that there's cool things at the end.
Exactly.
But things will get cooler as we go.
100%. 100%. Yeah. 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 So let's see. We got that. We did that. We covered everything? Did we do everything?
That was a lot quicker than I expected.
Do we have?
Please ask more questions.
Do we have any?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I still got a few minutes.
Yeah. We have. Yeah. Any more questions from the audience? This back up here. Yeah. There, like I said, it's best to get like any questions out now, or soon. Obviously you can ask us via Discord, and all that stuff.
But if you're handy, go ahead and throw it out here where we have a bit of an audience, so that maybe we can answer a question once instead of 3 or 4 times. Knowing prizes provides motivation.
Yes.
Just know that there are prizes, and I think they're pretty good so far. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the ones that are lined up.
I'm quite happy with some.
I mean,
it's
people outside of the hobby might not understand, but I think for people who are actively nerfing in different levels will be pleasantly surprised and happy.
We'll keep going around. It's it's one of the things of like, I think one of the actually early Merge Masters had prizes, but they also were delayed at putting them out just for the sheer and it was like same mindset of us. It was
like if it was a Reddit Merge Masters, I'm pretty sure it was a logistical issue and probably somebody dropped the ball and things. Because I remember voting took like 2 months after the event, and then
voting took
knowing
so
who
long on
won
that one.
when a couple months after I think so far we've been handling that better than they did. But technology's come a long way too.
Yeah, 100%. Do you want to answer that one, Mr. Nathan?
Here's my plan for content. I use green stuff for sculpting Warhammer. Is that seen as the same thing as 3D printing? Isn't green stuff just like putty, basically? Right?
It's a putty. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's a modeling putty. I don't know. I would say that's within the realm. It's just printing is more. Printing cosmetic stuff is just like you buy a product or you click a button or whatever. I'm not downplaying 3D printing in general. Only I'm just trying to keep it more of a. I would say the putty type stuff is more of the hands-on, handcrafted, non-easily repeatable spirit of the competition. And so yes, I would say that kind of thing does work, because we've seen stuff like Frankenzilla. I mean, you remember Frankenzilla's weird, creepy goblin sculpey, gross things. Yeah, that's some wild stuff. Yeah, I would say that falls in the same realm as integration, bodywork kind of things, and less so of 3D printing.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's if you were to 3D print like the statue of David, that's one thing. But if you were to green stuff sculpt the statue of David, I mean,
oh geez,
yeah.
I mean, that you did a lot better job in explaining that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's if you. Yeah. So you still have to do 2 blasters, but if it's 2 blasters and 60% green stuff that you sculpted and hand did, I got
no problem with that.
No problem. And Captain Shotgun, it's if you can stick to it, and so short segment each day, and then even clip down some of your like key moments and stuff, because as with content nowadays, well, it's interesting because the TikTok ban, we'll see how that goes, but long form still does well, but short form is king. So you want your short form to be able to get people invested into watching the long form. And yeah, it's it's interesting, but I'll be looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, Foam Freaks, Landgrave, that I believe that was Amalgam, was that nasty, fleshy, bloody thing. That was It counts. I think
Yeah.
that set the standard. I mean, that definitely said that unconventional cosmetic stuff still applies in integration. So that's fine for me. There again, I'm wanting a lot of unique creativity. We gave such a literally small box to build in that I'm wanting to see people see if they can crank up the unconventional build types, build styles, different angles to just get the competitive edge on everybody else. Caribou Ninja, what are the rules for painting? For instance, if I put multiple OG and Strike blasters together, so the whole thing is yellow and gray, do I have to paint? I would say if you can integrate several blasters without having to paint, like if you're doing the ABS slurry kind of thing for bonding, I would say that is kind of its own. The effort in avoiding paint is almost as strong as the effort of painting, and so I would say under those circumstances, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the goal of paint is to hide bodywork, and so if you can hide your bodywork without painting, then I applaud you.
Yeah.
And I
Or if you,
guess ideally,
I was gonna say, if you feel that your body work speaks for itself and you don't want to paint it or you don't feel like you can, that's entirely up to you as well.
well, and
It's
ultimately, you're not trying to convince us; you're trying to convince your fellow modders. And
yeah.
so, if you think that any kind of exposed bodywork is cooler than what it would look like under paint, then that's entirely up to you. It's all about. I mean, ultimately, you want to build what you think is cool, but if you want to win, you want to build what other people think is cool. And so it kind of depends on what
Just build what you think's
where's your
cool
heart at.
and then make it cool. Gotta be
Yeah,
cool.
build what you want, build what speaks to you, and I think that's being true to yourself. Oh, wacky glasses.
Yeah.
Is more important than trying to build for other people. I mean,
Oh yeah.
obviously, you're trying to build to satisfy the rules, but as far as your creativity is entirely up to you.
Yeah. Nah, it's also for the golfer class, I'm just saying 4 swarm fires next to each other is 20 inches long. Just for anyone that's curious.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah. And there again, the dimensions are not, the longest dimension is not necessarily the length. You can make a blaster that's really tall or really wide or whatever. It's just as long as if we hand you a box of that dimension and you can set your blaster in it, however you got to turn it, crooked, sideways, angled, corner to corner, whatever it's got to be, that's fair. That's on you being creative, and that's what this part of the competition is all about: is seeing how you make the rules work.
Yeah.
And how you interpret them within the scope of Rule 0, of course.
Yes. And just to add on to primates going for the honorable mentions, I won't be I won't be announcing anymore, but we will have different weird, just bonus point honorable mention categories for this blaster was the biggest and stuff.
Yeah,
stuff
unofficial
awards,
and we got a few in mind of just weird things like that we'll make sure to bring up and say, like you said, the most unconventional or the biggest possible within the scope or widest or obviously we'll repeat the brow raiser award for kind of the most surprisingly noteworthy kind of thing, which is just a purely personal my opinion kind of thing. That's why it's not it's not a prize based award, because it's entirely subjective to what I think is cool, and I don't think that's fair for a voting based competition.
Yeah, well, it's just
we'll have a lot of those.
Superlative. Yeah, superlatives. Wow, I can talk today. That's
the equivalent of seeing it in public and giving you a pat on the back and being like, "Dang, that's cool."
Yeah,
that's the kind of awards that we'll be giving out personally.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's just at the end of it, Nathan has 1 vote. I have 1 vote. Everyone in this chat has 1 vote.
That's the extent of our power.
Yeah, that's it.
Once voting begins, it's out of our hands.
Yep. So yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, but if there's no other, unless you guys want to have other questions, I think we'll wrap that up. We went over the rules. We went over schedule. As I said in the Discord once again, You guys can now see it. Thank you for helping me with that, as I screwed it up the last time. Um, oh yeah, I'd vote for yourself. Believe in yourself. Hang on, let me put on
Yeah,
put on my
if you have
glasses.
to vote for somebody
Believe,
else, you didn't do a good enough job.
yeah, believe in me that believes in you. There's my glasses. Okay. I don't know how many people actually get that reference in this chat, but that's okay. Yeah. So yeah, vote for yourself, and yeah. So Merge Masters tonight. The open discussion will open. I have to fix a few things, so it's not going to be right away after the live stream. It's going to take me a little bit. You guys could feel free if you want to talk more about Merge Masters in there. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
anyone in the Discord, you keep doing that.
Yeah,
If
you
you
can
have,
ask in general for anything as well, but Merch Master specific questions, um, answering or asking or answering whatever. Yeah, if we can just keep Merch Master's event specific stuff in that chat, it just kind of keeps all the information more consolidated and easier for people to kind of read through and have questions answered without having to ask if,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
exactly. And yeah, you all should be able to see now the rules and the rules Merge Master. You have the sheet. And one thing I'll say, if you have Nerf friends that may not be part of the Merge Masters Discord, invite them, bring them along. We'd love to see as many people that want to compete in this competition as possible. So, let them know to, come along. Love you too, Primate. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Any,
and even if in fact, was it Shotgun? Was that you in the last stream, or somebody who said I don't really do Discord, but you know I can if I have to, and has been going nuts in there ever since.
yeah,
And so even if they're not a Discord person, it's worth joining just for this Discord if you're going to compete, or at least are emotionally invested in seeing the process behind for the competition and stuff. You don't have to do anything if you don't want. You can just lurk like crazy. That's totally fine too. But because so much of the event, the entry and stuff like that is going to be based in the Discord, your best bet is to go ahead and join if they're not active or joined already.
yeah. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite your dog. Be good times. Yeah. Until any final closing words you got?
Don't start yet. Don't start yet.
Yeah.
Wait till the first. All the information it's imperative that you don't start now because it'll screw you over later. Don't you can start dreaming, kind of roughing some ideas out, but don't go taking your picture yet. Don't go gluing stuff together yet.
Especially don't go
It's gonna
gluing
be
stuff together yet.
yeah. I mean it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing we're doing this year, but yeah, don't build. Start dreaming. Dream like crazy, but wait until the first. The information will come out. You'll go, what the heck? And then you'll lay your thing out, take your picture, submit, and we'll go from there, and it'll be great.
Yes.
So don't start yet.
Yeah.
Dream only for the next week and a half.
Dream, gather the blasters, sketch something out. That's it. And yes, we can get an FAQ. I'll get an FAQ channel in there, cats. But yes, I guess until February 1st, right?
Until that day, till all are one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's yeah. We'll post things. I mean, if you have questions in the meantime, go ahead and comment on this video or ask in the Discord or whatever. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can leading up to the start. And yeah, we'll start doing an info dump on the entry or the how to enter information. Will drop GMT, February 1st, midnight, whatever GMT. And then I'm sure we'll have a lot more questions, which will be addressed the next day, technically, there on the 2nd. So you won't hear anything from us until a couple of videos and a bunch of posts drop on the 1st.
Yep. All right. Well, until the 1st, we'll see you guys later. You guys have a good night.
Don't start yet.
Don't start, but plan.
Yet.